Demetrius, you can take it away.
Yeah. So this week, as I already kind of tickled it up, I got a question. Actually, it was through my MN Pool Bootcamp Facebook. So anybody that wants to ask me questions, you can email me at info@mnpoolbootcamp.com, MN like Minnesota, or you can check me out on Facebook. I've been posting some stuff up here and there. But the question had to do with, this gentleman he's been playing pool for 3 years. He's been very excited. He's had some good results out in Vegas. He's played some leagues, and he's been working hard in his game. But he also has a job. He has young children. He's trying to be a good father, responsible citizen. And so he's like, what do you say to somebody that does want to get better, but they just have a lot on their plate and they can't just go off and, go to Neverland and just play pool all day? And so I told him I'd make that my coach's corner. So welcome to the next coach's corner. I think a lot of this is just common sense, but let me tell you what the common sense things I have are. So if you are a busy person that still wants to improve at pool, the first thing you have to do is kind of have an idea of a budget for both time and money. You don't want to be in a spot where it's murky, because then you always feel like you wish you had more. And then at the same time, you might throw your life out of balance a little bit where you're neglecting your responsibilities, or you might feel guilty every time you play, or maybe your spouse is impatient every time you play. So it's good to have these conversations either with yourself, with your spouse, and just kind of everybody that's involved needs to kind of have a clear picture of what's reasonable for time and money, so that you don't go too far, but you also don't feel guilty and pursuing something you love. So whatever that is, and that can change year by year, but you got to have a clear picture of what you can do. Then the second thing you need to do is you need to set the appropriate goals, which is you have to set goals based on your time and energy and money budget. So you can't sit there and say, well, I want to be, if there's other people that are putting in more time and energy around you, you can't, or have a head start in terms of ability. If there's somebody that's 2 levels above you that's playing every day and they don't have children and they're trying to go pro and they're playing pro events, you can't really set your goal to outplay that person, because that doesn't make any sense. You have to look at, with your budget of time and energy, what is a reasonable goal? And for those that have heard me, you'll understand my goal is to use the time and energy and money I have to see how, to go as far as I can within my budget, not to try to compete with people that have a bigger budget than mine. That doesn't sets you up for failure and frustration. And that's why for those that haven't heard it, I refer back to that joke about the two walkers in the woods that 2 hikers run into a bear. The first guy starts, putting on his running shoes, and the other hiker's like, what are you doing? You can't outrun a bear. And the first hiker says, well, I don't have to. I have to outrun you. And so I go back to that. I'm not trying to outrun the bear. The bear is the player that has more time and resources than I do. I can't outrun the bear. I have to outrun the other hiker. And the other hiker is me, who I was yesterday. And so it's very important. So first you have a budget of time and money. Then you set goals based on what you can do with your budget to be a better version of you, not how do you stack up with people that are throwing more resources into the game. The third thing I would say is you have to plan and understand that you are going to have ranges throughout your years of fluctuation of energy and focus and attention. So if you, like, for example, when I come back from a tournament, kind of to Nate's point, when I come back from the tournament and I'm thinking about all the things I want to work on and how I want to get better at certain things, well, then what happens is I get home and my kids come tackle me and I've got emails and calls to make and stuff to do. And it's like, oh yeah, it's not like I forgot. I'm not coming back to a vacuum where I can just practice all those things. I'm going to be overwhelmed with life and responsibilities. And so that could be, if you have this idea that you're just going to go home and work on your game, that's going to be frustrating. And there's times when you kind of get into a rhythm where you're practicing and you just have a lot of, mental energy to devote to pool and to think about it and watch pool and practice. But then there's also times when, holidays come and you're running around and shopping for birthdays, and next thing you know, you just don't have a lot of attention to give to the game. So you have to understand that your energy levels and even within your budget, it will fluctuate a little bit. And so you can't set up your action plan based on being able to maintain the high end of your range on energy and attention. Because if you say to yourself, I'm going to practice 2 hours a day, well, that might work for a couple of weeks while you're motivated and focused and you don't have anything going on. But then that wave is going to crash over you and you're going to fall off your plan. And it's going to be easy to get discouraged or defeated and then think that it's all worthless. And then the other problem is if you're at the bottom of your range and you don't have much time to practice that week and much attention to give, it's easy to think, well, I can't stick to my plan, so it's worthless. Why bother? It's better to understand, kind of have a multi-pronged strategy, which is when I'm feeling it, I will put in some practice and hard work. And when I'm overwhelmed or not feeling it, I will still do something so that I'm at least not going backwards and not going a month at a time without picking up my cues. And I don't want to live a life where 50% of the time I'm telling myself things like, I'll never get there, it'll never work, I'll never add up because I can't do enough. You want to be able to do enough at the bottom of your range to where you're able to tell yourself, I've budgeted for this. I know that these days will come. Now is not when I need to get better. Now is when I just need to hang in the game and understand that I'm not failing. I budgeted for this. And when I have the time and resources again, I'll be able to make my charge and I'll be able to make my move then. So I'm hanging back and waiting to make my move here when things turn around and the seasons change a little bit. So plan on fluctuation with time and energy. And then finally, you have to be strategic. You can't brute force it. There's people that just go to pro tournament after pro tournament, play money match after money match, play 10 hours a day. They can brute force it. They may not have to be as strategic about how they use their time and energy. They're just going to say, I'm just going to throw time and energy at it until I win a pro tournament. But when you have limited time and energy, you have to be more strategic about it. And so you really have to understand your game, what your game can look like, where it needs to improve, how to get from here to there. You have to have a clear vision of where you're going, clear understanding of what physically needs to change to get you there, and what needs to happen in terms of league play, match play, tournament play, practice, what needs to happen, video studies, whatever, what has lessons, coaching, what has to happen to get me from here to there. And then you have to just be more, you have to make sure you're not frittering away energy doing stuff that's not working without direction. And I've seen a lot of people that fall into a trap. They don't feel like they have much time and energy to put in the game. So then they waste 10 years, not really focused because they're like, well, I wouldn't have added up to much. Whereas if they actually would have had a plan and consistently put the little bit of time and energy they did have with a little bit of strategy, they could have actually been top master players and regional champions, but they just never really thought they had enough time. So then they pissed away 20 years. So bottom line, to recap, good life pool balance. First, you plan a budget of time and money. Second, you set your goals according to that budget and according to competing with yourself. Third, you budget mentally for fluctuations in your energy so you're not discouraged and negative and defeated half the time. And finally, you have to be very, very clear about what your game needs to look like and what you need to do physically and in terms of career management to make that happen. And for people that are in that range the same way, a lot of people feel that, coaching, maybe they're on the fence, but that's what I do. I help with my coaching. People come to work with me. They fly in from anywhere in the country, spend 3 days. And when they leave here, they have a very, very clear picture of what their game could look like. They know exactly which pieces of their game need to change. They have a plan of what they can do on the table and what they can do in their career to hit those goals. And we've actually already started working on them together so that by the time they leave, they've already taken the first few steps to become better players. And all they have to do then is follow the plan that we've created and keep the momentum rolling to see that progress. And it's an investment of time and money to come work with me, but it's not nearly the same investment as 30 years of directionless, going through the motion. So I invite anybody that's interested to contact me at info@mnpoolbootcamp.com or check out my website, mnpoolbootcamp.com, to learn more. And thanks for the question. I hope to hear back from this gentleman and find out that his next tournament out to Vegas is even more successful.